Welcome to this edition of the Guardian of the Legacy video collection. You're about to embark on an action-packed adventure full of great hunts, interesting tips, and need-to-know information for your own successes in the field. Learn everything from mating behavior, critical calls, and hunting essentials. There's great hunts, even a tasty recipe to cook, the perfect southern fried turkey. Enjoy mastering the spring hunt. Late May finds us on a hunt with NWTF Life member and Wisconsin chapter volunteer Jack Jensen and the Federation's Wisconsin Senior Regional Field Supervisor Charlie Burke. The day before, members of the Upper Peninsula Michigan Longbeards chapter scouted areas along the Menominee River Basin, setting the stage for an exciting hunt. Easing along the edge of a hemlock birch-lined meadow, Charlie and Jack find a prime setup location on a point of woods jutting out into an opening. A good tactic to use when hunting field gobblers.
We can call him right around the corner here and take him over here. That's good. Okay, that'd be the plan. Go ahead, it's light enough.
Decoys in place, Charlie starts the turkey talk with his prized Neil Cost boat paddle box call. When an interested hen begins cutting back, Charlie switches to a slate to mimic her excited calls. Next on the scene is a Jake that puts on a show, strutting and gobbling like a mature tom. During the spring gobbling season, the presence of young toms checking out hens is sometimes all it takes to pull that old boss gobbler into range. Other birds gobbling in the distance, just out of sight, alert the two men that are holding out for a longbeard. Might be worth their weight. When the rest of the flock shows up, a pair of jakes pick a fight with a longbeard and the battle is on. This long-spurred gobbler doesn't take long to prove who's the boss, then switches his attention to the decoys.
This is good. Gotta like this.
Aggressive calling can turn the tables on an old turkey like this gobbler while flocks find out who's the boss. It's important to remember when a turkey's walking straight to you that any movement at all could cost you a shot. This can be a great time to study the bird's body language as you're waiting for your shot.
If you want to, take him.
Once the battle-scarred Tom steps into the clear, away from the trailing hens, Jack gets ready to make a safe, ethical shot.
Good, Charlie.
All right, let's get him. Super.
Oh, is he a dandy?
Wow.
Oh, nice bird.
Oh.
Thanks, buddy.
Good job.
Excellent. Oh, man, is he a dandy. Look at them hooks on him. Just fantastic.
How many times he gobble on the roost?
I don't know. He was double gobbling, triple gobbling. It was fantastic. He was wired up.
For this late in season, I don't think I've heard a bird gobble that much in
No.
years.
Oh, late May, man, oh man. Most of the time them birds are, hens are sitting on the nests and the gobblers are really winding down in their activity, but you kept him wired.
Did you hear that hen cut over there?
Yeah,
When she
yeah,
started cutting?
yeah.
I started cutting back at her.
You just mimicked her.
I tried to do that because what I found is that once they start going, if you can mimic them and you can get their interest and they start coming, stay on them, keep
Yep.
calling. And we brought her right in, and I think she was the key to this bird here.
To roost a gobbler, pick a listening spot a couple hundred yards from where you think he might roost and sit quietly. Listen for beating wings as he flies up right at dusk. And then confirm his location with a crow call, an owl hooter, sometimes even use a turpin yelper. And then slip out without disturbing him and make sure you're going to be able to find your way back in the morning before daylight. A finely tuned box call should be included in every turkey hunter's bag of tricks. Up next, we'll introduce you to master craftsman Neil Cost for some inside information to help you pick a great box call. Neil Cost grew up in Oklahoma, hunted small game for the family table, and shot his first wild turkey when he was 7 years old. He was raised with Comanche Indians.
They learn to call animals, you know, with their natural voice. Some of the older Indians, and I'm talking about the ones up in the 80s and the 90s, they told me that you could make a call with a piece of rock or slate, you know, on a deer rib bone that would make a sound just like a turkey that should be able to call.
Neil made his first box call when he was 12 years old, and he's still making them 6 decades later.
Every turkey call should have 3 distinct sounds. Jack, 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 no, 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 no. So that's what I have to look for. Say, it's actually a musical instrument.
And as any violin maker will tell you, the better the wood, the sweeter the sound.
This is the piece of cedar right here that I'm looking at. If I had to suggest to anybody how to start making turkey calls, I would say take 2 years to learn about wood. You just take a block of wood and take away everything that don't sound like a turkey. Slow and one smooth motion across there.
Neil has always shared his knowledge and patience with other call makers.
I don't know if anybody will ever make a better turkey call than he does, but you know, I just hope someday that I can make a good call. He's just a legend, you know.
Neil is probably one of the best known box call makers in the world. He tunes his own calls by hand, and we know when we go to the woods and we want to talk turkey, that gobbler is going to listen. So we decided to name the chapter after him in his honor because of what he's done for turkey hunting and the preservation of turkeys and the conservation efforts here at the Wild Turkey Federation.
This one was the night that they named the chapter after Neil. When they made the award, they asked for me to come up, and I got to stand up there with him. It was really, it was quite a thrill. I think about the first time I actually saw tears in his eyes. He was so overwhelmed with it.
I got a couple pretty nice birds. That was a real nice bird there. Probably as good as I've ever gotten. And he had 8 3/4 spurs.
Neil has hunted turkeys so long, the sound that he has in his head is so perfect that he tries to reach that perfect sound.
You hear that old gobbler up there right at daylight, you know, sounding off back over there. Make the chill run up your back. I like the one-on-one, just you know, you're out there and that turkey's out there and you can't make him do nothing he don't want to do. And I don't think anybody can make an absolute perfect turkey call. I mean, you know, they exactly duplicate the sound of a turkey. I don't think you can do it. But you can come close enough to where you can fool a turkey. And I hope somebody will be able to use my call for a lot of years to come, still be taking them birds with them. But you could ask anybody who the gobbler is, they know who you're talking about. You know?
Today's youth are the key to the future of hunting in America, and introducing a child to the sport we love so dearly is the best investment of quality time that we can make.
That's a pretty good blind, isn't it? I know. How about get in there and let's go hide right quick. Daddy came in here yesterday and built it and everything. Let's put your cushion right here. Let's get this in. Okay.
The following tips for leading a new hunter afield will help make the most of your time together. First of all, make turkey hunting a casual adventure. Next, give a child their own turkey call. Before the big day, take them on scouting trips and teach them about turkey sign, like the difference between gobbler and hen tracks. And maybe most importantly, make sure the child is dressed comfortably. These tips and others will assure a great hunting season and make memories last a lifetime.
Okay, hold still. We got us a long beard. Hey, give me 5. All right, look at him. Oh, a good one. Man, you my lucky charm. Hey, you know what? This is our second bird this year, isn't it? You are something else. You are one good turkey hunter. Hey, let's put him right here and let's look at him, okay? What a beautiful bird. Isn't that pretty? Huh? What'd you think? You know, when we found that feather right there, you know, coming hunting today, I knew it was going to be a lucky day for us. What'd you think?
Maybe it was the same one from right here. You see?
Yeah, you know, it could have been. You know, we've probably seen this bird in this field before, haven't we? Hey, look, Tyler, and look at that beard. That's a long one. That's what we came after right there, long beard, didn't we? Though that's his beard right there, and then right here is what you call his spurs. See right here on his feet? That kind of tells what kind of age he is. That's a good turkey. You know, he's probably 3 years old. Yeah, that's old for a turkey, though. Hey, look right here.
I think it was baby.
Hey, isn't that pretty? Look here, Tommy.
Turkey hunters strive to harvest a bird that has a long beard, sharp spurs, and weighs over 20 pounds. While every turkey taken is a trophy, sometimes that special one may have something odd about it. One of those distinctive oddities is the silver or smoky gray phase, like this hen. She lacks the brown pigment of a normal hen, so she looks silver at a distance. We don't know how many reach adulthood, since from hatching these birds can easily be seen by hawks and owls. Hens are more likely to be smoky gray than gobblers. Smoky gray hens may have a brood of normal poults, since this phase, like many oddities, only occurs when the recessive genes pair up from the gobbler and the hen. Complete albinos with pink eyes are extremely rare. Another strange color is the red phase. It happens when we have a loss of black pigments, so the brown colors are more noticeable. It doesn't stand out like the silver phase, but it makes a real unique trophy. One of the oddities we see more often is multiple beards. A beard is really a modified feather and is not composed of hair. The beards are in a vertical line with each one shorter than the one below it. I know one bird from Wisconsin with 8 beards that totaled over 71 inches. Speaking of beards, 10% or more of the hens have beards. Their beards are thinner and shorter than the gobblers and usually have a bend in them like you put them in a door and shut it. Although not as common as multiple beards, gobblers can have more than one spur on each leg. Multiple spurs may be located above or below the normal spurs. I've seen a number of gobblers that actually had no spurs. Out west, gobblers may wear their spurs almost completely off on rocks, creating what looks like an oddity, but actually it isn't. I've seen a lot of different oddities over the years, from multiple snoods to body feathers going out the top of a gobbler's head. If you're lucky and take one during the hunting season, you indeed have a special trophy to hang on your wall.
I had the privilege of hunting Rios, one of my favorite spots, the El Canelo Ranch in South Texas. This area, which is close to the Gulf, is noted for long-spurred gobblers. After early morning gobbling had slowed down, I tried one of my favorite tactics known as cutting and running. And on this day, I was using a mouth call to strike and had the good fortune of striking not one, but 3 beautiful longbeards that were running together. Decoys can help bring a leery Tom those last few yards need to make a quick, clean kill, especially in open areas like food plots or fields where turkeys can see for several hundred feet. Because there were no trees for me to sit back against, my Chapman chair really came in handy. It allowed me to sit up comfortably in the mesquite and use those limbs in the shade to break up my outline. Once I cranked those birds with my mouth yelper, I switched to my slate, but I ended up finishing them off with a mouth call by doing some guttural purring. Those old boys were hot coming in. Then, I could tell by the way they retracted their snoods that they were alarmed by the presence of my decoys. I decided to use an aggravated challenge purr to see if I could change their attitude. When working a group of gobblers, this call can really challenge them because it simulates the Jake decoy being aggressive towards them. In this case, it really made for quite a show. real show came after the shot. Instead of jumping up and going to the downed bird, I just kept calling. And his two buddies returned and strutted, gobbled, and took some real cheap shots at the one-time king. Neat was the fact that we got 22 minutes of video after the kill. What a show! Beautiful spring flowers and beautiful long-bearded spring gobblers, they just go hand in hand. It doesn't come any prettier than what it did this morning. These old Rio Grande gobblers are really well matched for their habitat. In fact, the tips of the tail feathers and the tips of the rump feathers match that sandy color of these sand dunes here in the Gulf. What a show. Those three gobblers, when they came in, oh man, my heart was pounding. I couldn't believe it was three. I thought there was only one. Jockeying for position. And when I had their feathers fanned, I said, wait a minute, this gobbler has something unique. In fact, I noticed the fan was a little bit larger, and I think it's an abnormal bird, and most of them have 18 tail feathers. This one I think may have more. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 tail feathers in this unique gobbler. No other North American game bird has a mating ritual that equals that of the wild turkey. Each spring, over 2.5 million hunters head out afield to lure this big old bird to their calls. A better understanding of the turkey's mating behavior is going to help you even the odds this spring. Mating behavior, such as gobbling and strutting, attracts hens to the gobbler. These rituals are triggered by longer days of spring, although unseasonably cool weather can delay breeding activities. Gobbling is the most obvious vocal mating behavior, and when spring mating season rolls around, almost any sound will cause that male to gobble, especially the yelp of a hen. But any loud sound such as thunder, an owl hoot, a crow call can trigger this turkey to gobble. Most gobbling's done from high in the roost early in the morning, but after fly down, he typically gobbles less. What makes a morning good for hearing turkeys gobble, well, it's really a mystery. However, mornings with clear skies, light breezes, and heavy dew seem to be the best. Adult males gobble more than jakes, and males gobble more often in the morning than they do in the evening. Toms will also gobble more if there are no hens around. So if you hear a bird gobble late in the morning, chances are he doesn't have a hen, which, well, that's a perfect opportunity for the hunter. Strutting's another interesting mating behavior. Often you can hear a sound we call drumming, and that's when the bird's in this strutting posture. To strut, the bird takes 2 or 3 quick steps. He drops his wings, fans his tail, while dragging the tips of his wing feathers on the ground. The drumming sound, you can hear it sometimes 70 yards or even further away if the conditions are just right. If you hear the gobbler drumming, you better get ready. It's showtime. A gobbler's display brings the hens, which cause him to hang up. And this frustrates any hunter. After all, we're hoping that the gobbler's going to come to us. And for that reason, patience is the key to tempting that old longbeard to go against nature and seek out your call. Over the next 2 days, James Earl and Don were joined by Wayne Fears, an expert turkey hunter and editor of the Rural Sportsman section in Progressive Farmer magazine. Wayne had killed his own Tejon turkey just a day before, and came along just to watch. Hearing a gobbler halfway up the steep mountainside, the three men worked their way in an effort to get above the bird. Nearly 3 hours of hard hunting later, the men had worked from ridge to ridge in a big circle. Just when they thought they were ready to give up, a few yelps made on a handmade Neal-Cost box call sparked a nearby gobble. Quietly, the hunters scrambled to set up. With their head nets in place and a setup on a lowboy light turkey hunting chair, they were ready to wait out the tom's slow but steady approach to the calls. The Merriams marched up the hillside before stepping out onto a logging road where he gave one heck of a show. He worked within 12 steps of the hunters before Don took the shot. As textbook as this hunt appeared, this turkey almost missed being tagged. The gobbler had been henned up all day, and fortunately when the last hen finally left that longbeard, the persistent hunters were there to offer him an invitation.
Wasn't that a pretty bird?
That's a gorgeous bird.
And look at that iridescent, that bronze on there.
Beautiful.
Look at the coloration. Now this is a Merriam's that came to Tejon from South Dakota.
South Dakota.
One of the prairie birds. And this part of Target 2000, you know, we wouldn't have birds here on the ranch if we hadn't been able to get South Dakota to donate some of those birds to California Game and Fish, and then we were able to put them out here. And what was that, 1989?
1989.
And we stocked
60 birds.
60 birds, and now, and you're killing how many a year?
We kill about 55 birds a year.
So that's a real proof of what's happening here with Target 2000 all around the country, and the fact of how well these turkeys are doing here in the 90s.
They've done extremely well on Tejon. It's really been a real asset to our hunting programs here on the ranch.
Box calls, diaphragm calls, and slate calls are favorites of today's turkey hunters, as hunting tools are effective and easy to use. The most enduring and primitive of all turkey calls is the wingbone yelper. This throwback to the good old days requires practice, but once mastered, makes some very realistic sounding turkey noises. Turkey call historian Howard Harlan says Native Americans used wingbone yelpers as far back as 6500 BC. They pieced together turkey wingbones to make a crude trumpet yelper. Most yelpers were made from a variety of materials. Wingbone yelpers were made popular by Charles Jordan back in the late 1800s, and his yelpers were based on the Native American design of using turkey wingbones as the mouthpiece. Jordan used a cane to make the other sections of the call, including the bell, which helps magnify the sound. This section here is considered the bell. Jordan's calls proved to be a link in the yelper's evolution because not too long after his design appeared, craftsmen began making bells out of wood or cow horns. Tom Turpin perfected the trumpet yelper and found that wood from cocobolo produced some of the sweetest turkey sounds. Last spring, the Turkey Call television crew followed in the footsteps of our 1998 Wild Turkey Bourbon NWTF Grand National Turkey Calling Champion Chris Kirby on 2 hunts to capture some exciting footage. We'll show you some of the reasons why Chris is a champion on the stage and in the woods. The opening week of the Missouri season, Chris works a gobbler from roost, but he doesn't connect. Later in the morning, he strikes a longbeard that sounds interested, but takes its time to close the gap. When a single hen arrived in the scene with a gobbler right behind, Chris learned why the strutter seemed so preoccupied. This gobbler strutted and drummed continuously, another sign that he had another turkey in his sight. Listen close, and you can hear the spit part of the spit and drum call of a strutting gobbler. Chris shows his patience, waiting for the gobbler to step into the clear where the hen had crossed the logging road just a few moments before.
Turkey. Oh. Big turkey. Oh, gosh, look at that bear. And I know I haven't hunted turkeys any better than here. We've just been hearing turkeys gobble all morning long, and this is just a phenomenal turkey.
Turkey hunters use a lot of specialized equipment. Quite honestly, it's a chance to use many of these items that makes hunting the wild turkey both fun and challenging. But what are the basics? Since every day in the turkey woods brings new surprises, you need to be ready for just about anything. Here's a few essentials that no turkey hunter should be without. Obviously, your shotgun and shells are two. Good camouflage clothing is also necessary to outwit a turkey's keen eyesight. Camo shirts, pants, jackets, hats, and even a camo mask and gloves, and I even wear camo boots. These are all part of that equation. All-weather turkey hunters prepare for the wet stuff by including their favorite rain suit. A turkey vest is another excellent way to keep almost everything I need organized and easy to reach. Besides a fold-out seat and a roomy game bag, most vests are covered with pockets designed to hold different calls and other items securely and quietly. Another item that I never leave home without is a lightweight stool. It'll keep you comfortable and still for hours. Now, you don't have to be a champion caller to call in a turkey, but you should be good at using a few different calls so you can handle a variety of situations. Just a few of the more common types are box calls, and they offer great volume at long-distance calling and in windy situations. Slate, glass, aluminum, friction calls all produce excellent yelps, cuts, and purrs. Diaphragms and pushpin calls are ideal for working birds in close when movement needs to be kept at a minimum. You also want to carry a locator call or two. An owl hooter or a crow call are just right. Other important items include a good weatherproof pair of binoculars and lightweight collapsible decoys where they're legal. And if you plan on hunting in some unfamiliar territory, you might want to carry a GPS unit or at the very least a compass. Ratchet cutters are a great tool for clearing the shooting lanes and clearing brush that's around you. And of course, a small knife, I can always find a good use for it. With these items, you'll be ready for just about any situation you'll encounter in the spring turkey woods. Last April, the Turkey Call television crew joined former Kansas Governor Mike Hayden at the governor's one-shot turkey hunt, which he originated 12 years ago.
I've had the good fortune of hunting turkeys now for 24 years, and there was a certain magic, of course, as there always is in that very first bird, that I was able to bring to the gun with the call and to see this magnificent bird in full strut and then put it in the bag. And that's a thrill that you never lose. Certainly I've never lost it. It's one of the reasons that we celebrate each year the restoration of wild turkeys in North America here at the Governor's One-Shot Turkey Hunt in El Dorado, Kansas. We bring people from around the world, around the country, but the great thing is each year we get together to celebrate this great American game bird and its restoration in all 105 counties in Kansas, and in fact its restoration now in 49 of the 50 states.
Mixing old with the new, the wingbone, which is Mike's favorite call for locating and working spring gobblers, is the same basic call that was used by American Indians. Fashioned from actual turkey wing bones, this suction type call is versatile enough for locating gobblers at long range, yet you can tone it down to lure a bird right into the shotgun. Once he's made the gobbler answer his call, Mike quickly places his decoys a few yards of his chosen calling position. Sometimes, certain terrain and cover types just won't allow you to pick a calling position that has a tree wider than your shoulders or higher than your head. A big part of safe and successful turkey hunting is modifying your normal routine to fit the conditions and the behavior of the birds that are present. Once Mike gets into position, not just one, but two mature Rio Grande toms answer his calls. They move into range with the dominant bird doing most of the strutting and drumming. When everything's perfect, Mike slowly moves the over and under 12 gauge into position, and his movement's covered by the swaying prairie grass and broom sedge, and being perfectly still.
to him. Shall I shoot?
Oh, was that beautiful? Yeah, that was nice. Boy, look at that. Boy, was that beautiful. We're here on the governor's one-shot turkey hunt at El Dorado, Kansas. Every year we celebrate the return of the wild turkey to North America at this great hunt. My name is Mike Hayden, former governor of Kansas and originator of the governor's one-shot turkey hunt. You got a glimpse of why we come together each year in celebration of this great American game bird.
Folks, we're going to cook a Florida cracker style wild turkey today, and if you never tried one, I guarantee you're going to like it. The first thing we've done is we got a fire going over here, and we want our temperature up around 340-50 degrees, and looks like we're just about there. So what we use there, we use peanut oil because that seems to do a better job and don't scorch near as easy. The next thing we want to do is I've done put some black pepper on my turkey, and now I'm going to make up a batch of hot sauce to go on it. You can use just about any kind of hot sauce there is on the market. This particular brand is called Texas Pete, but they've got numerous other kinds. But anyway, I like to mix a little paprika with mine. Just a shot of it in there. Paprika gives it a little color and just a touch of flavor, and a little cayenne pepper. And the cayenne pepper is hot, and that's what we want. We want that turkey to have a good coating of zesty spices on the outside, and of course then I really go heavy on the black pepper because that will leave a coating on it. We take and mix up that mixture, get it all right there, and then basically all we do is we want to cover the whole turkey with it, so he's got a good coating all over him. Rub him down real good all over. Make sure you got it inside and out. And incidentally, make sure your turkey cavity is open all the way through because you want your grease to flow through. And once you do that, and get your turkey all salved down real good with it, both sides, and good orange color here with that pepper and the black pepper all over it. You got him about ready to go in the grease. Make sure you got it down in there. All right. So you want to put him down neck first into your pot. Now this part you want to be a little cautious. Be a little cautious about it because it is hot. You want that grease to squall. Make sure there ain't no ice in it. What that's doing, folks, is that's sealing that juices inside that turkey. You just ease it on down in there slowly till your turkey gets covered. Cavity gets full, and it's sealing all those good natural juices inside of it. And it's about reached the temperature now. We can let it go. And folks, what we do, that turkey weighed about 14 pounds, and we want to cook this turkey at about 320 degrees for 3.5 minutes to the pound. So we figure this is going to run about 40 to 45 minutes. So in about 40 minutes, we'll pull it out, and I'm sure it'll be done a good golden brown. Folks, I believe our turkey is about ready to come out of the oil, and ease her out, taking time to let the excess oil drain out of it, and it does look like it's going to be lip smacking good. The color's right, and I believe she's done. And let's ease her right down on this platter we got. Folks, I tell you what, it looks good, and I can just about guarantee you it's going to be good. All right, I don't know. What you say, let's open her up and see if the juices are indeed inside of it, like I will bet you they are. Yeah, look at there, folks, that is done. I don't think you could get it done any better. If you missed any of the ingredients that I used while we were preparing this turkey, the National Wild Turkey Federation has got a great cookbook out called Wild About Turkeys. The recipe I used today, my recipe, I'm very proud of it. I think it's the best, is in there. There's hundreds of other great recipes in there. Get one of these books, cook you a deep fried turkey, you'll love it, I guarantee it.
As America's fourth largest state, Montana boasts a wide variety of natural treasures any outdoor adventurer can appreciate. Today, you can turkey hunt along the same trails that the pioneers used to settle this wild land. And if you look close, century-old wagon ruts still mark this ruggedly beautiful landscape. Today, you'll join the Turkey Call camera crew for another spectacular spring hunt for Miriam's turkeys on the Twin Buttes Ranch, nestled along the Powder River Breaks, a trip you're sure to enjoy. On this hunt, we join Carl Brown, NWTF Vice President of Operations, and NWTF Life member Don Heckman from Pennsylvania. Don, who received the NWTF's prestigious C.B. McLeod Distinguished Service Award in 1998, was ready to try his hand at bagging a Miriam's longbeard. And Carl was happy to assist by calling the bird into close range. The morning's hunt started with Don, Carl, and one of the experienced guides from Powder River Outfitters, hiking in search of a loudmouth tom. When Carl finally sparked a gobbler from the dense cottonwoods along the river, the action heated up fast. And once he located the bird, with some pleading yelps on his mouth call, the bird was immediately on its way. This bird was close, almost too close. Don was ready with his favorite Winchester Model 1300 12 gauge, which he had won at an NWTF banquet way back in 1993. At 10 yards, Don's 12 gauge put the gobbler down for the count and brought him his first Miriam's longbeard. The Federation's annual convention and sports show is the wild turkey event of the year. There's nothing quite like it. It combines the thrill of the Grand National Calling Championships with celebrities, fun, and recognition of our top volunteers. And it's a huge event that draws more than 20,000 people from all over the country. And no wonder, there's so much going on. You can meet with the country's top hunters and pick up the latest deer and turkey hunting tips. And everyone loves to check out the hunting gear at the sports show. There are more than 400 booths with just about everything you can imagine, from calls to camo. The outdoor world's most talented artists are also there, displaying decorative calls, handcrafted knives, paintings, and taxidermies. They compete for top honors. There's always a chance to kick up your heels at the welcome party with country music's hottest acts. The banquets, the breakfasts are also a great time for talking turkey with your buddies and rubbing elbows with the celebrities. No convention is complete without the excitement of an auction where you can buy the best wild turkey art, special NWTF shotguns, and hunting trips that most people only dream about. Maybe the most exciting part of the convention is the Wild Turkey Bourbon Grand National Calling Championships. It's here you'll find the nation's top callers, putting and purring and yelping their way to thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. The NWTF's convention and sports show is a great place to bring the family. Nowhere else will you find this many wonders of the wild turkey world or meet more dedicated volunteers. The National Wild Turkey Federation's Grand National Celebrity Auction set the stage for this exciting South Texas hunt. Artist and clothing designer Katie Cundiff was the last one standing in a heated bidding war for a spot on the Jake's Hunt of a Lifetime.
It's a good time of evening. Let's slip right over to that oak mount right over there. Okay. We'll kneel down along the edge, call, and see if we can get some answers. Okay?
And a few weeks later, she took her son Clay on that trip. Earlier that morning, Clay bagged his first wild turkey, earning a spot on Mossy Oaks Hunting the Country, which aired last fall. Their guide was none other than Dick Rosenlieb, director of the Federation's field operations. After an action-packed morning, the trio was off on another quest to fill their mother and son double. Some cutting and running was all it took to put them within earshot of a loudmouth gobbler. The old Tom couldn't resist and was soon on his way out of the shade of the dense oak mott. Several tense moments followed as Katie waited for the perfect shot. This big Rio Tom is looking hard to find that lonesome hen that grabbed his attention. Too much calling can easily alarm a gobbler in a field if he cannot see where it's coming from. Soft calling works great to bring a searching Tom those last few yards. The Jake's Hunt of a Lifetime is a prime example of parents and their children sharing precious time together in pursuit of this most noble game bird. The National Wild Turkey Federation would like to thank the King Ranch for providing this unique opportunity and make this outing truly a hunt of a lifetime.
Woo! Oh, I am shaking. Oh my God, he's right there. Got him.
Woo! Katie, can you believe what a day we've had?
It's just,
How about it?
unbelievable.
Your son killed his very first turkey this morning. On the Jake's Hunt of a Lifetime, you killed your first longbeard
Yep.
this afternoon. This is about
As good as it gets.
It's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, I really felt alive. I felt that my heart was beating so hard I could just feel the blood rushing through my
I thought he was never going to get there. I kept waiting and waiting. He went out of view. He went behind a tree. I couldn't see. I was behind you. I couldn't see. I couldn't wait to see him get back where I could.
Were you praying for me like I was praying for you this morning? Please let her in this burn.
Well, you made a wonderful shot. He went right down.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful trophy turkey. Congratulations, lady.
To call in a turkey, you don't need to be a champion caller. If that was the case, hardly anybody would ever kill one. A simple cluck or a basic yelp on virtually any call can get the job done 90% of the time. One of the easiest calls to use is a pushpin yelper. It was designed back in Virginia back in the early 30s, and this type of call is great for making realistic clucks and yelps. So don't worry if you're still new to the turkey calling game. Just grab a pushpin yelper and head to the woods. Returning to the rain-soaked hammocks and flatwoods of South Florida, we join NWTF Conservation Program's Vice President, Dr. James Earl Kinnemer. It rained so hard the night before in nearby Arcadia, Florida, at an NWTF Superfund banquet that it nearly flooded the event. Conditions hadn't gotten any better at sunrise, so Dr. Kinnemer had to wait for a break in the weather. His persistence paid off, though, when the skies cleared around noon, giving him only an hour to legally hunt the birds. With the clock ticking, he locates a pair of hot gobblers. Using a diaphragm call, James Earl gave these Osceolas some soft whines and contented clucks. And this call is a great one to calm a wary tom who cannot find a hand that he's heard. Be prepared for what Mother Nature throws at you during the spring gobbler season, and you can raise your chances for success also.
Boy, wasn't it great to hear those gobblers gobbling like that. You know, we've had whole generations that came and went that never got to experience what we just saw this morning. This wild turkey comeback is because the state wildlife agencies, through the $100, were bringing back the wild turkey start back in the 1950s. It's been great for the National Wild Turkey Federation to be a partner in this comeback. Won't you two join us and help us restore the wild turkey to all suitable habitat in the country?
Thank you for watching this edition of the Guardian of the Legacy video collection. We hope that you've enjoyed your adventure with us, and thank you for your continued support of the National Wild Turkey Federation. We hope you'll proudly share these videos with your friends and family.